I speak for, I think, a majority of people. We didn't know anything about digital collectibles at the time, and at the time it seemed a little bit ridiculous, but then it just caught fire.
The Ecomi price, the Bitcoin price, and the overall crypto market is trying to find new massive support on previous resistance from where they can build out a base of strength to drive the prices into a new bull market. But also the bears are trying to get back in the driver's seat, and especially in the Ecomi and Veve fam, we can see it right now that they are trying to rip the last piece of hopium out of the remaining Ecomi and Veve bulls' mouths, and we see the side effects already in the even more established YouTube Ecomi and Veve fam, as some people are giving up on parts or their entire portfolios.
But like I said, this is a free market and we can all decide what we want to do with our collection, right? Maybe I'm making the mistake of my life, or maybe I got out just in time. Who knows?
We also see mixed signs from the economy, from the Fed, from the US market indicators, and from very established 100-year-old investors in the space. Hey everyone, it's the Patient Hodl coming at you with another video, and in this one we are going to go over the current situation, the current sentiment. We are going to assess why I think this is one of the biggest asymmetrical opportunities in the financial space of our lifetimes, and I'm going to highlight and support these claims with video and also written material from the spaces that we are in right now regarding Bitcoin, altcoins, Ecomi, and the crypto space overall. But before we start, please keep in mind that I'm a crypto and NFT investor and not your financial advisor, so please do your own research before you ape full degen into Bitcoin, all the altcoins, Ecomi and Veve. Also, if you enjoyed this type of content, please smash up the like button, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about this generational buying opportunity in the comments below. But with that out of the way, let's get finally started. So as you can see here, I am in the fields, in the icy fields of Germany. It has been snowing the whole night, but is already melting away here. So 1 second I was afraid that crypto winter might be back, but actually when we are looking at the Bitcoin price so far, we have a retracement going on since a couple of days, and that actually after all these weeks of pumping and green price action is an absolutely normal thing. That what we have not seen in comparison to the other pumps or relief rallies that we had in this bear market, that we have been retracing in a waterfall-like collapse right after hitting a peak. We have not seen that. In fact, we have seen a way stronger price action, and as outlined in the last live streams and also in the last videos, this is because, in my opinion, because the Fed is showing signs of taking the foot off of the gas with the rate hikes. But on the other hand, the rest of the world, the central banks in the rest of the world, they are still rate hiking, like the European Central Bank, because in comparison to the US, the European Central Bank is only at 3% overall interest rates, and reaching the goal of the Fed of 5 point something percent, there's still another 2% to go for the Eurozone. And actually the inflation rate in the Eurozone is higher than the one that the Fed actually has in the US. So if we bear that in mind, there are other relevant spaces of currencies, of big currencies in the world, that are still in this rate hiking environment without a chance of stepping off of the gas. So in overall, we have to see, yes, the Fed is the determining factor of where it's all going, but the rest of the world is still lagging a little bit behind in terms of these rate hikes. Let me get this beautiful background here back in, because that was a little bit too bright. Also, it's -3 degrees and my hand is already freezing off. But let's get into the purpose of this video, which is the asymmetrical opportunity, financial opportunity, in my opinion. And therefore, I want to play you a clip from Around the Blockchain from Arcane Bear, which is only 1 minute long. So listen to this, because I think it's a very, very good point about walking away from a financial opportunity way too soon and then see what is happening in the next couple of years. So let's listen to this together and discuss it right after that. So stay with me here.
Recognize here is that if you're dealing with asymmetry, you are often going to have 80% downward spirals, and you might 2 to 3 years down the road have walked away from 100x or a multiple 100x. And we've seen this before. CryptoPunks were effectively free to begin with. So when companies do airdrops, aside from selling right away to take advantage of that, which is usually a good idea, as TJ pointed out, if you have a whole bunch of new supply coming into the market, which was free for most people, a lot of people will take that profit. But the difficult part is measuring out into the future and whether you may have walked away from an extraordinarily successful, basically free investment. And I've seen that countless times in this ecosystem where we end up walking away from asymmetry far too early, looking at it's like, oh, well, it's only worth $350 today. But if you reversed 7 years ago and have $350 in Dogecoin, it's worth a hell of a lot more today. So that time and asymmetric functions is always difficult to keep in mind.
So as you have heard, Arcane Bear is basically outlining that the downside risk of an NFT investment like Veve of Ecomi is only what you have put in right now. We all knew that this is one of the most risk-on assets that we can have in this entire space and probably on the entire earth. So Veve NFTs are the most risky investment that you can find probably. On the other hand, they pose one of the biggest upside factors that we can have in the entire world because of the major brands that have onboarded so early in this NFT space for Veve. And if you consider this, Disney official license NFTs is usually around 60 gems. Some of them are around 50 gems and others are up to 80 gems, which is $80 at a maximum. And then there are some collectibles that are even higher, but the overall price point of those is only $50. So the asymmetrical risk opportunity range here is losing $50 but having a chance on couple of 100x to 1000x or even more in the long run. And we have seen right now YouTubers, people that really know the fundamentals, giving up on this investment opportunity and maybe walking away way too soon from one of these financial opportunities. And if you see what Arcane Bear outlined in this video that I've played right now, we have seen that CryptoPunks were free in the beginning and afterwards they were worth millions, and people have sold them for $500 because they were basically $500 up. And the rational mind sometimes says, oh yeah, let's take some profits off of the table here and just sell this NFT. But the also rational mind sometimes says, let's mitigate risk and let's be risk averse and let's just reduce the portfolio even if we are selling at a loss. And this is what is happening quite a bit in the crypto, in the altcoin market, in the NFT space. And we are seeing this right now. Superstar Money has just made a video about them reducing their risk and reducing their Veve portfolio. And before we had the Gale and also Non-Fungible Wonderful mitigating risk, in their opinion, in their portfolios. And this is not to criticize anyone here, in my opinion. I don't want to have anyone going to them and basically blaming them for reducing their portfolio, because it's everyone's choice. And so it's my choice to stay with my over 400 collectibles and not reducing any risk despite doing some quick flips in the market and staying in this for the long run. And now let's talk about the time frame here for this asymmetrical risk, because as Arcane Bear has outlined, sometimes it can take up to 5-7 years for something like that playing out. And if we see that we are on the verge of a new potential bull run right now, that could take us to very high levels and then pull us back into a bear market again. So 7-8 years would be one bear market after the one that is coming right now, or that is coming up in the next 1 to 2 years. So keep that in mind. And I think many people invested into the Veve collectibles because they saw the run up in the NFT space right after the explosion of altcoin season in the last bull run, and they were thinking, okay, so let's just throw a couple of $1,000 into those collectibles, participate in the drops, and we'll be rich in a couple of months. And the opposite happened, because basically these investments were made during still the NFT bull run in the broader space, and especially in the Veve space. So if you take that point where where most of the people came in, you have to wait an additional 4 years for the next bull run to kick in if nothing out of the ordinary is happening. So as outlined in the videos and live streams before, I will repeat it again. My playbook and game plan is as follows. Bitcoin proves that the bottom is in. This will be followed by the halving and then a Bitcoin run that will eat up a lot of the altcoin dominance, and everyone will pile their money into Bitcoin, causing it to go up tremendously. Even institutions and even smaller countries will put their money into Bitcoin to take advantage of the gains, and after that people will at some point take profits off of the table. If you are looking at charts like the ones from Plan B, for example, you can see at the color of the dots in these charts that there is a point in time, which is when you're basically breaching some levels close to the all-time high, where everyone in the entire space, no matter where they bought their Bitcoin, will be in profits. And as I said before, the rational mind says, let's take some profits off of the table, which is then when people are taking profits on Bitcoin and putting it into altcoins that haven't had their parabolic run yet, causing them to have the parabolic run and attract more money. And yet then they will take profits off of those altcoins, as people will sit in massive profits. And that is the point where micro caps and small caps and even NFTs will benefit from those massive degenerate altcoin profits. So in my opinion, you take the peak from, and this is not financial advice obviously, you take the peak from the last altcoin season, from the last NFT run in the Veve app, and you put a 4 year on top of this date and time, and that should be where the next NFT bull run peak should happen in the Veve app, more or less, together with all the catalysts and stuff that we are going to see. Together with this, also the altcoin price of Ecomi will probably benefit even before that peak in the NFTs has finally reached. So I think, and this is my play, I will keep both of them. For transparency purpose, I will tell you right now, I have 2 million OMI tokens and about $8,500 worth of NFTs in the Veve app right now, which I hope to at least 10x throughout the next 1 or 2 years. And therefore, I will not sell even one of them. I will gradually even increase the stack, as we are very low in the prices on the Veve app right now. Why do I think that this run up in Bitcoin and this run up in the altcoins will occur once again? It's because many people in this space claim that Bitcoin is not a new financial asset anymore, and therefore cannot expect these run-ups anymore. And I strongly disagree. I think Bitcoin is extremely new, and I can prove it in my opinion. So many people claim that already hedge funds have looked into Bitcoin, that already a small country has adopted Bitcoin with El Salvador, and that a lot of bigger investors like Michael Saylor have integrated Bitcoin in their company strategy. But if you look at the overall market, Bitcoin is not adopted at all. If you are asking the masses, ask at your work, ask at your family, almost no one has even a single Satoshi of Bitcoin, which is the normal retail investor is not invested at all in Bitcoin. But if you look at it that way, it's not only about them. Ask people that have their own smaller companies if they have put, let's say, 0.01% into Bitcoin. Ask people who have bigger companies, if you know some, if they have invested in Bitcoin, and even look at the balance sheets of the biggest companies in the stock markets if they hold any Bitcoin in their balance sheets. You will find that only a couple of companies, not even close to 1% of those companies, are holding Bitcoin, and that most of the balance sheets of the countries in the world have no Bitcoin. And then we go even further, because we can look at the biggest investors and what they are saying in the world, like Charlie Munger, which is the best buddy of Warren Buffett, and they together have made a killing with Berkshire Hathaway in the past. What they know about Bitcoin when they are criticizing Bitcoin. They think stuff like that Bitcoin is here to replace every national currency in the world, which I would pose and disagree that this is not even the case. So one could argue that Charlie Munger, for example, does not understand Bitcoin.
About crypto that Benjamin writes in. He says, in 2007 at the USC Law School, Charlie said, "I'm not entitled to have an opinion on this subject unless I can state the arguments against my position better than the people who are supporting it." The question is, does this also apply to your Wall Street Journal article on banning cryptocurrencies? And if yes, would you care to share the arguments against your position?
Well, I don't think there are good arguments against my position. I think the people that oppose my position are idiots. And so I don't think there is a rational argument against my position. This is an incredible thing. Naturally, people like to run gambling casinos where other people lose. And the people who invented this crypto crapo, which is my name for it, and sometimes I call it crypto crapo, and sometimes I call it, well, crypto shit. And it's just ridiculous that anybody would buy this stuff. And it isn't. You can think of hardly nothing on earth that has done more good to the human race than currency, national currencies. They were absolutely required to turn man from a goddamn successful ape into modern successful humans in human civilization. Because it enabled all these convenient exchanges. So if somebody says, I'm going to create something that sort of replaces the national currency, it's like saying I'm going to replace the national air. You know, it's asinine. It isn't even slightly stupid. It's massively stupid. And of course, it's very dangerous. And of course, the governments were totally wrong to permit it. And of course, I'm not proud of my country for allowing this crap, what I call the crypto shit. It's worthless. It's no good. It's crazy. It'll do nothing but harm. It's antisocial to allow it. And the guy who made the correct decision on this is the Chinese leader. The Chinese leader took one look at crypto shit and he says, not in my China. And boom, oh, well, there isn't any crypto shit in China. He's right and we're wrong. Well, and there is no good argument on the other side. I can't supply it.
Now you could say, haha, Patient Hodler has 3,000 followers, not even, on YouTube, and thinks he's smarter than Charlie Munger. I do not think that I am smarter than Charlie Munger, but I think that I have spent more time looking into crypto and Bitcoin than Charlie Munger, because actually their business model is heavily tied to national currencies and to models with government bonds and stock markets, and have nothing to do with the tech space at all. And this is actually something that I do not say. This is something that they say. That
Warren and I don't feel like we have any great advantage in the high-tech sector. In fact, we feel like we are at a big disadvantage in trying to understand the nature of technical developments in software, computer chips, or what have you. So we tend to avoid that stuff.
Warren Buffett said in his book, where he describes, or basically the author of this book describes, how he and Charlie Munger built the tremendous business, and how they describe that they almost never invested into tech companies because they wouldn't simply understand them. And Warren Buffett himself said that they did not invest into Facebook, Google and other companies in the beginning because they simply didn't understand it. So they stuck to companies that they understood, like Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, Bank of America, and so on. So if someone is claiming constantly that they do not understand tech at all, which is why they have missed the biggest tech trends in the entire tech sector, and they were heavily criticized for it, why do you think that they have a qualified opinion about crypto,
Crypto-crapo,
altcoins,
crypto-crapo,
and even NFTs?
Crypto-crapo.
But it's basically old man yelling at a cloud, because he basically has, the only argument that he has is that the other people are idiots and that it's crapo, shit, crap, or whatever he says. Basically shows us that these people have the opportunity or take advantage of the crypto space, but they refuse to, and also they refused right now to really look into this stuff. You could also make the more conspiracy theory argument that they actually know exactly what crypto is and that they are working together with the bigger machinery, which they made their killing in, to prevent crypto from being a thing. But let's not go so far. Let's just assume that Charlie Munger does not understand crypto and that many other people also don't understand crypto, and that people are still inclined to listen to people like Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett. In my opinion, to sum this all up, Ecomi, Veve, altcoins and Bitcoin are, and right now at this point where we are either close to a bottom, within the bottom, or right in a disbelief rally out of the bottom, that this is the asymmetrical with a very little downside from where we already are, which is total loss, to a tremendous upside, which could be 10, 100, or even 1,000x, depending on the asset that you are in. That this is such a big opportunity that we shouldn't waste it. We should perform our research. We should dive deep into NFTs, into where the space could be going, and we should make our decision right now and see whether we can stick a longer time with these investments, and if really secret rare comic, for example, in Veve, can give you 100 to 1,000x returns, which in my opinion it can, because sometimes these cost $6.99 and some of the secret rares are sitting way above $600 still. So let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this and what your strategy is for the upcoming bull run with Ecomi, Veve, altcoins and Bitcoin. Wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night or afternoon. Go out into nature and get your mind off of the very troubling things from time to time, only for a couple of minutes, which is very important to be able to better analyze for your mental health and sanity afterwards, when you are going to go back into these degenerate spaces that we are in, the insane things that are happening all over the world and especially in the crypto space. And see you in the next video.